Hello everyone and welcome to a new video program by Julia Reza. In today's video program, I would like to talk to you about anthropocentrism, specifically how, in my opinion, it is an obstacle to human progress. You are probably wondering what I mean by that. Well, as you know, humanity today, particularly in the West, where we don't have natural predators or face significant external threats, often gives us the impression that we are at the center of existence. Also, the lack of obstacles to our development, aside from the ones we create ourselves, means that the problems we face today are caused entirely by our own species. This has made us very egocentric, in this case anthropocentric, as we assume or over-assume that humans are the center of existence. This wouldn't be necessarily be an issue if we were more open-minded, but as a species, we tend to discriminate against everything else. For example, how many of you have pets and see in them behaviors that show a certain intelligence or even a degree of consciousness? If you have watched some of my other videos, you will already know that I think most animals have a certain degree of consciousness different from ours, and I even believe that artificial intelligence could eventually develop this consciousness. In this case, regarding anthropocentrism as an obstacle to progress, I have come to this conclusion because many times we fail to recognize that other species, especially sociable mammals, share many characteristics with us. For example, dolphins, which are often considered cute animals or clowns of the sea, are, pardon my words, quite mischievous, to put it lightly. They engage in rather unpleasant group sexual behaviors, especially for the females of their species or for other marine inhabitants. They have one of the highest rates of sexually transmitted disease in the animal kingdom and are quite racist among themselves. Elephants, for example, have been shown to possess an articulated language similar to ours, not as developed or rich, but their capacity for communication is enormous. We know that many primates share with us nonverbal expressiveness, the ability to share emotions and even experiences, and we could go on with many more examples. So, you may ask, alright, Julia, now that you have said all this, why do you say it's an obstacle to progress? The answer is simple. Let's consider the following. I have already talked about my thoughts on consciousness in artificial intelligence, and due to anthropocentrism, it's highly likely that most of humanity either won't want to acknowledge or simply won't recognize this possibility. For example, I once thought of conducting a survey to find out what people think about the potential consciousness of artificial intelligence. A very high number, more than 70% of respondents, said that they didn't believe in this possibility. I thought that perhaps this skepticism was because AI is a novel topic, so I decided to conduct another survey about other forms of conscious life. In this case, imagine the typical alien race. Most people didn't want to engage with the topic or dismiss it as nonsense. But it all comes back to anthropocentrism. In what sense? In many alien content movies or stories you have seen, there are always conflicts. And the explanation for this is simple. Humans are so accustomed to being the center of the world that anything potentially threatening, more intelligent, more advanced, etc., would send us into panic. It would be the end of the society if we know it. But not because they had harmed us, simply because the content itself would destroy our anthropocentric mindset. A significant portion of human beliefs and religions around the world would lose their meaning. Even many scientific theories would become obsolete. And today's economic system, which would likely collapse as well, not just because of scientific advance or knowledge brought by an alien race, but also due to the futility and artificiality of our current economic and social systems, which would be rendered meaningless by the arrival of another intelligent species. Here's a numerous example. Imagine a group of humans enjoying a drink in a field when a spaceship lands nearby. The aliens approach the humans and ask, "What's your biggest problem?" The humans respond, "Well, there are lots of people with their homes." The aliens ask, "What would it take to build more house?" The humans reply, "Money." The alien then say, "Alright, where can I find this money you need so much? I will search all the planets necessary to bring you this money." To which the humans respond, "Oh no, we make the money ourselves." Understandably, the aliens are baffled, return to their spaceship, and leave thinking humans are crazy. And that's the joke. All of this leads us to lose opportunities to understand other forms of life and other ways of thinking. If you think about it, and as I've mentioned several times, this obsession we have with moving toward a singular way of thinking is slowly, in a way, turning science into dogma, almost religion. Although the scientific method is based on debate, evidence, and other processes, it has reached a point where it no longer tolerates external interference. Now it works more on consensus than on evidence. I'm sorry to put it this way, but I think anyone familiar with the subject will understand perfectly. If you have doubts about this, feel free to write to me and we can discuss it privately or whoever you prefer, but I don't want to dwell on this too much here. Okay, returning to anthropocentrism, as I was saying, this desire to feel at the center of the universe of existence has brought us to a point where we are incapable, as a species, of seeing things from any perspective but our own. We fail to understand how other forms of life, other scales of thought, other ways of feeling, whether due to biological, existential, or climatic different functions. For instance, it was recently discovered that plants have an incredible communication system. Entire forests are connected through roots, sharing information with one another. Even tree stumps, which appear dead, are sometimes kept alive by the roots of other trees, so they don't completely die off. In the African savanna, there have been mass deaths of a specific type of goat. It was discovered that during a severe drought, the low-hanging trees that were devoured by these goats began producing poison, which killed the goats. What's even more curious is that some of these trees, separated by kilometers, also developed the poison despite never having been attacked by this goat species. This means they exchange information in ways we don't yet understand. And in our anthropocentric stubbornness, has taken decades to uncover something like this. The same applies to fungi. Certain types, like Myxomycetes, exhibit remarkable intelligence. In English, they are called slime molds, and they are amongst my favorite fungi. If you look them up, they are fascinating. They can solve mazes, despite lacking neurons as we know them, or any kind of central nervous system. If we consider our ways of functioning, you will realize that yes, we have developed civilization to a certain point, but we are still primitive in many ways. Remember what I mentioned about us being a type 0.6 civilization on the Kardashev scale, not even reaching type 1? Now think about the millions of forms of life in this planet. Animals, fungi, plants, microbes, bacteria, viruses. Each one has its own way of functioning, relating, and existing. Their experience of life and reality is vastly different from ours. Yet their ways of being aware of themselves are different but not less valid. They exhibit a level of intelligence that, while not comparable to ours in terms of civilization building, is still remarkable. Now, if we extrapolate this to alien life forms or artificial intelligence, it's not hard to imagine the possibility of consciousness, intelligence, and even civilization in other contexts. The key is that, due to human egocentrism, we often find it impossible as a species to open our minds to other ways of functioning. And that's my main critique. In any case, I don't like to go on too long. If this topic interests you, we can explore it further or organize a debate, whatever you like. The comment section is open, as always. And finally, as I always say, have a great day, a wonderful week. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.